Hello, welcome to Math 101 class. I'm Miss Oluwaseyi and I'm excited to be here today. Our topic today is real numbers, and this can be found in Module 1, Unit 4 on page 24 in your course material. At the end of this topic, you should be able to define real numbers, classify a real number, describe properties of a real number. In mathematics, a real number is a value of a continuous quantity that can represent a distance along a line. Real numbers can be thought of as points on an infinitely long line called the number line or the real line, and it can mainly be classified into the rational number and the irrational numbers. So real numbers, they are values that represent any quantity along the number line. So there are different forms of a real number system, and they are the natural numbers or the counting numbers. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A natural number is called a prime number if it is greater than 1 and its only factors are 1 and itself. So examples of the natural number, we have 2, we have 3, we have 5, 7, 11. These are numbers that can only be divided by 1 and themselves, okay? And I'm sure you have so many other numbers in your head like that. So a natural number is said to be a composite number if it is greater than 1 and it is not a prime. Examples, we have number 8, it has other factors, and it is a number greater than 1. We have number 24, it's a number that is greater than 1 and it is not a prime number. So whole numbers consist of the natural numbers and 0. Of course, we know the natural numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the moment we add 0, then we're talking about whole numbers. Okay, integers consist of natural numbers together with negative numbers and 0. An integer is even if it can be written in the form 2n, where n is a natural number. Okay, of course, what are natural numbers? We know that natural numbers are 1, 2, 3. So if I can write any number in the form 2n, that is 2 multiplied by any natural number, then such a number is said to be even. And then an integer is odd if it can be written in the form 2n minus 1, where n is also a natural number. Okay, this right here is odd. So of course, when I take any natural number, I insert it where I have n. Okay, and then if I subtract that value from 1, that answer I have is called an odd number. Rational numbers are numbers that can be written as integers divided by integers. If I can write any number, say 1 over 2, okay, for example 5 over 8, or even 4 over 2, okay, all of these are examples of natural numbers, and it comprises of all integers and fractions. And for irrational numbers, these are numbers that cannot be written as integer divided by integer. For example, square root of 3, okay. The square root of 3 is definitely a number that will give me a decimal, and I cannot truncate at some point and write this answer to be a fraction. Now, a real number is positive, it is greater than 0. So we know that we have a number line, okay, 0 somewhere in the middle, okay, and we have positive numbers and we have negative numbers. So we know that real numbers are said to be positive if the number is greater than 0, and it is negative if the numbers are less than 0. Undefined numbers are numbers of the form n over 0, okay. Any number divided by 0 is said to be an undefined number. Now, suppose we're given some set of random numbers and you're asked to classify them to rational or irrational, whole numbers or natural numbers or integers. I believe that you should be able to do that as you have in your self-assessment questions. Moving on to properties of a real number. On the set R of real numbers, there are two binary operations denoted by the plus sign and the dot, okay, so that's addition and multiplication. So we have the addition and we have the dot, which is the multiplication. So these operations satisfy the following properties. So the first one being that we have a plus b. If a and b are integers, it's equal to b plus a, okay. So we call this the commutative property. This is the commutative property of addition, where a and b are real numbers. So a, b are elements in the real. The second property, which is the associative property of addition. So if we have a plus b plus c, then we have it to be A plus B plus C for all A, B, C in the real numbers. And the third property is that there exists an element 0 in the real numbers such that 0 plus A, of course this will give us A. Any number we add to 0 will always give us that number, okay? So it means that there's an existence of the 0 element. And the fourth property is that for each A in R, there exists an element negative A in R such that A plus minus A, and of course this will give us 0. That means there's a presence of a negative element in R. And the fifth property, which is that of multiplication, we have A multiplied by B to give us B multiplied by A, which is the commutative property of multiplication. The sixth one we have A multiplied by B multiplied by C. So if we have this in the bracket, it is equal to A B all multiplied by C. And where A, B, and C are elements in R. For the seventh property, we have that there exists an element number 1 in R, which is distinct from 0, such that 1 times A, of course it will give us A, whatever we multiply the number 1, and then we have A also times 1, it will also give us A. And this is called the unit element. For the eighth property, we have that for each A, which is not equal to 0 in R, there exists an element 1 in R, such that A multiplied by 1 over A would give us 1. And we also know that 1 over A multiplied by A would also give us 1. That means there's the existence of the reciprocal of A. And the ninth one, we have A multiplied by B plus C. This will give us A multiplied by B plus A multiplied by C. And we also have B plus C all multiplied A. We also have that to be B multiplied by A plus C multiplied by A for all A, B, C in R. And this is called the distributive property of multiplication over addition. A quick recap of all that has been said today: the definition of real numbers, the classification of real numbers, and properties of the real number system. Now note that the techniques of algebra can be derived from these 9 properties as have been given above. You should try out the self-assessment questions, and you can also check out some of the books in the further reading section for more explanations. You submit your TMA to me via the LMS platform, and you should feel free to contact me also via the LMS platform. See you next time.